What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing the potential forgotten man in the extension talks with the Chicago Bulls. We talked about Josh Giddey and Kobe White. For me, it was about 10 minutes ago, but for you, it was probably a day or so ago. Discussing the future, discussing the possibilities, discussing if it's a trial test that we go for, if both of them stay, if one of them stays, heck, if both of them leave. You never know what outcomes could happen. But someone that we don't talk about enough, someone that is also due for that extension, and someone that is a fan favorite amongst the Bulls is Ayo Dosumnu. Is he the one that could be extended, or is he the one that could be leaving the Chicago Bulls? In other words, is his future with the Bulls set in stone, or is it made of glass, ready to break and depart? Let's talk about it in this video. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you believe Ayo Dosumnu has a future in it, or do you think his future is coming to an end with this Bulls team? Now, we're talking about past videos, right? In the past video, I called Ayo Dosumnu Mr. Dependable, Mr. Reliable, someone that you can rely on almost any situation. If you need him to score the ball, shoot a three, he could do that at a good level. He's a good three-level scorer as well. Very good in transition. He's good playmaking-wise. If you need him to playmake, he can do it. If you need him to defend, he can do it. If you need him to grab a rebound, he can do it. Sure, he's not amazing and elite at all these things, but he's good at all those things, and that makes him a very valuable asset to a team trying to aspire to win games and become more competitive. Having someone like Ayo is very important to a team. When I talk about guys like this, it's very similar to, I talk a lot about Josh Hart, but he's the prime example of this. Someone that isn't the most elite basketball player you'll ever see, but he's someone that gives everything to the court. He's someone that's going to out-hustle you and work harder than you on the court. And sometimes that means more than being the superstar of a team. And there are a lot of guys out there in the league like that, ladies and gentlemen, and I truly think Ayo is our version of that with the Chicago Bulls. And I love that about him. And ultimately, he will be a fan favorite, and he is a fan favorite because of that. But all positives aside, because I really can't think of many negatives with Ayo. Even his contract is amazing right now. Speaking of, is he the one that could potentially leave this Bulls team? This is a very difficult decision, a very difficult video to make, because there's already articles saying that both Josh Giddey and Kobe White can't stay. So already two of the players that are up for extension, there's very big talks that one of them will eventually leave the Chicago Bulls. What happens when you add the third man into that picture? And that is Ayo Dosumnu. So first things first, we need to discuss the Bulls will have more power to spend more money in the future. Not this season. This season, they're pretty much focused on Josh Giddey, and that's probably all we're going to do financially this season. When they get rid of Nikola Vucevic's contract off the books, maybe a couple of other guys' contracts off the books, I still think they're paying coaches, if I'm not mistaken, of the past. Maybe that could come to an end. The money could be a little bit more free, I guess you could say, for the Bulls to use. And yes, in a hypothetical situation, it could mean you could re-sign all three of those guys. You could re-sign Josh Giddey. You could re-sign Kobe White. And if Ayo is looking for a bigger contract, hopefully not too much bigger, of course, you could see the Bulls extend Ayo Dosumnu. The question is that the right thing to do? Because yeah, you could re-sign all those guys, but if it's going to only take us to the 10th seed again, it's not the right choice. And someone has to go from that situation. Ayo could be the easy one in that regard, because Ayo is a bench player that in certain teams could potentially be a starter, but he's also a guy that, again, championship teams and competitive teams will look at and say, we need a guy like that on our team that can do a little bit of everything for you. And he'll be the easy one to target. And probably because of the contract he will get, he'll be the easiest contract to get rid of. So that scares me instantly when it comes to Ayo Dosumnu. The fact that the money he could get, the years he could get, and what he could bring to a team on both ends of the court, he would be the easy choice to say, yep, if we need to trade someone, we're trading Ayo Dosumnu. So yes, of course, that scares me. But in saying that, let's just say the Bulls next season, maybe get to the second round. I talked about it in the last video as well. We get to the second round. We compete really hard. We prove a lot of teams wrong. You know, we're the new Detroit Pistons of the NBA. The Detroit Pistons just come out of nowhere and make the playoffs and take it to the Knicks, who made the Eastern Conference Finals. We're the team that comes out of nowhere, surprises everybody, proves the NBA wrong. We're the love letter to the league, and we're the underdogs of the league, and we go in the second round and we bring a hard-fought effort, but we lose and we fall out, right? But you see the clear future is in our direction, and it's a pathway that we can determine. If that's where we're going this next upcoming season, I'd assume it should be a shoo-in to stay. Because you're not going to tell me that Ayo is not going to be a big part of why we are where we are in that regard. You're not going to tell me Ayo doesn't play a factor in us winning. Because the way that I see it, he's one of those players where stats might not show everything, but his impact will be shown from the eye test and us watching the games day in and day out, night in and night out. Game 1, Game 82, there's always an impact that Ayo can make on a game. And to me, that is very valuable. And for a competitive team, that will be very valuable. So, to sum it up, as I always like to do, Ayo definitely scares me. Him leaving definitely scares me. Because I think it's a very good chance. I mean, put it this way. For a lot of his restricted free agency, he had no idea if he was coming back to the Bulls. Apparently the Raptors wanted him. But he could have been out of the league. Like, there was a possibility of that, you know. For someone of his stature and caliber, no one picked him up. The Bulls picked him up on a very team-friendly deal in the end. So, it's almost happened before, guys. So, yes, I have every right to be scared about Ayo being the one to leave the Chicago Bulls. Or him being the, you know, I guess, in the crossroads, in the firing range, if you know what I mean. But if things go well for us, I think you could bet your top dollar Ayo plays a factor in that, and that is someone you do want to keep around. So, again, can go both ways. Maybe it's not the answer you wanted, but it's the answer I think we all have at the moment. No one knows for sure if Ayo is getting traded. No one. Probably not even Ayo. But if things go well, you can't tell me Ayo won't play a factor in that. I can almost guarantee you he will. So, let me know what you guys think about that answer. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. I should let you know, before I go, I expect Ayo to get a pay rise, sure, but I don't expect it to be getting 20 million or something like that, you know, or anything like a ridiculous amount. I think maybe 10 to 13 million is probably where, maybe 13 to 15, something like that. It could be a very, it's still pricey for a bench player, but a good bench player probably gets that much, in my opinion. Anyway, take care and peace.